under pressure V2. Phoenix here with the top 10 managers under the most pressure heading into the season. We've done the player version. I think I got a pretty spot on list. As always, there's a few little weasels moaning and whining, claiming, oh, but Phoenix, how could you put Ronaldo? How can I not? How can I not? Of course he's under pressure. You guys don't even think sometimes. But this is why I'm here to help you guys. Let's get straight into the managers list. As always, I've got a couple of honorable mentions to begin with. Antonio Conte. Hear me out on this. Yes, he won the league in his first season, which not many people would have expected. But there is always this big question mark surrounding Conte's career. Can he do it in a European stage? Can he do it in the Champions League? Napoli are strengthening tremendously. They've added a lot of players to their squad. So he can't really use the excuse that, oh, we haven't got the squad required to compete in multiple competitions. Because, of course, let's not forget, that was a huge reason why they won the league last season, is because they only played in one competition. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is the season where Conte will finally deliver a respectable result in the Champions League. My other honorable mention, Roberto De Zerbi, another Italian manager. This one is a tough one because, of course, there was a lot of back and forth between him, Marseille, rumors about him threatening to leave. He finished second to a PSG team that won everything. I mean, what more could he realistically do? But he did finish 20 plus points away from a fantastic PSG team. How much can he close that gap? How can he perform in the Champions League? Those are the two big question marks. There were moments with Marseille last season where they dropped points you wouldn't expect them to drop. There was a lot of, inconsistencies. In the transfer window so far, they've kept most of their players apart from, of course, Luis Enrique, who they sold to Inter. So just want to keep an eye on because I do believe he is under some pressure. Now, into the top 10 for the season. At number 10, Vincent Kompany. Yes, he won the Bundesliga. I'm not sold at all. I'm not sold in any way. I still think, to some degree, Bayern Munich underachieved. Yes, they got hit with injuries, really bad injuries last season at the wrong time before the Inter game. But it wasn't just the Inter game. Look at the results they got in most of the big matches last season. They really struggled, eliminated in the cup by Leverkusen early on at their own stadium, losing to Aston Villa, unable to beat Dortmund, a team they've traditionally had no problems in beating, destroyed by Barcelona, obliterated. So there are still big question marks, at least for me, and I do think he's under some pressure heading into this, especially with his squad at the moment being a bit depleted. Also, spending 75 million on the Colombian Aaron Lennon. If he was the one that signed off on that, then automatically that puts him near the top for me. Number 9. Another Bundesliga manager. Listen, this one's weird, isn't it? Like, it's weird. Obviously, most of you guys are such haters, despicable fools. There'll be no doubt about it. All eyes will be on Erik ten Hag heading into the season. But he's managing a Leverkusen team that's been depleted already of 3-4 key players. We have to keep that in mind. I mean, of course you have to keep that in mind. This is not the same team he's inherited as the one that Xabi Alonso won the Bundesliga with a couple of seasons ago. So I think that is worth mentioning in Erik ten Hag's defense. However, of course, with the way it finished at Manchester United, he will already be under pressure and have eyes on him. But Erik, as always, I see your qualities. Into the top 8. Number 8. To go from Inter's U team to managing Parma for what, 10, 12 matches, to getting the Inter job, all that in the span of what, 2 years. This one, like I said, barely has any Serie A experience managing for 10 games, then get the Inter job. It's a big one. This obviously is going to be under massive pressure. He is taking over a team that didn't win a trophy last season, but all in all, I've had a pretty successful period over the past 4 or 5 seasons. And the squad is strengthening. We should on paper be much stronger than we were last season. So keeping that in mind, Kiev will be under pressure, and a false start, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up with his head on the chopping block. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye. He is winning me over though already with the way he speaks, the bit we've seen in the Club World Cup. He wants to be more versatile. So we'll give him the time, but like I said, if the results aren't there, obviously at the end of the day, it is a results-based business. Number 7. Jose Mourinho. Yes, obviously in his first season at Fenerbahce, it ended with no trophies and the inability to qualify to the Champions League. They begin very early on. Next week, they got a big two-legged tie coming up against Feyenoord, the team who Jose has successfully dispatched in the past, that was managed by Arne Slot. So I do think the expectancy there from Fenerbahce fans is that they will qualify to the Champions League this time around. So already he's under pressure there. Then, of course, he really was unable to pose much of a title charge last season against Galatasaray, a Galatasaray team that are continuing to strengthen, but as have Fenerbahce with the addition of John Duran and now Skriniar on a permanent transfer as well. So the pressure is on Jose, no doubt about it. In his second season, traditionally, he always delivers. So let's see what happens. As always, Jose, you have my full support up against the Galatasaray Mafia in the Turkish league. Top 6. A bit similar to the Kiev situation, but with it being Real Madrid and with Xabi having an even higher reputation, and with Real Madrid not winning any trophies last season, there is no doubt Xabi will be under tremendous pressure. First and foremost, he obviously has this Mbappe-Vinicius situation, which he has to try and figure out. I can't see that ending without upsetting one of them, because I don't think the two are capable of playing together, especially against the bigger teams. So he has that to begin with. That heavy defeat, even though there were positive signs in the Club World Cup, but that heavy defeat against PSG, you rarely see Real Madrid get beaten like that in that fashion. So no doubt about it, any manager that takes the Real Madrid job is under pressure. But for Real Madrid to go 2 seasons without winning a trophy would be unthinkable. And he's going up against a well-oiled machine in Barcelona's, or Hansi Flick's Barcelona. So all of that puts Xabi at number 6. In my top 5. He's got to be. The standards he has set, of course, are so ridiculously high that last season was a failure. I think that FA Cup final was the big one for me, in all things considered, because genuinely, if he could have pulled that through, Pep could have shown, yes, okay, we're not able to sustain the pace in the title, dispatched too easily by a weak Real Madrid team. Yeah, and they got beaten badly. It was very one-sided. But if they could have won that FA Cup, especially after spending big in January, then it could have toned things down and again proved that it would have been a very salvageable season. But that didn't happen. No trophies. Well, aside from the, we have to mention it, the Community Shield, which is proven to be somewhat of a curse for Manchester City. But when they do win it. But all eyes on Pep. They've had a lot of money again they've spent in the summer. Seems like the squad is almost there. 1 or 2 key players missing. The right back doesn't seem like they're going to be able to pull it through. But either way, no excuses. It is Pep. City have spent. All eyes on him heading into this season. Number 4. Cholo, Simeone. I've mentioned this in the Atletico video I made a few days ago. You have to put him under pressure. He has to deliver a trophy again this season for Atletico because of the amount of money they have spent. Yes, it's always going to be tough for a team like Atletico to go up against Barcelona, up against Real Madrid. But I genuinely believe that Atletico have or are close to delivering Simeone with an A+ transfer window. As a result, a very, very good squad. At the very least, a Copa del Rey, a Supercopa, I think that's something they can target. And I mean, I've always been backing Atletico in the Champions League. I thought they got extremely unlucky last season. But again, in a league title pace, it'll be always a bit tough to match the goals Barcelona and Real Madrid score. But in those cup competitions, I do really like the look of this Atletico team. And the rumor is, if Simeone does not deliver this season, it could be time up for him at Atletico. He has to change his tactics a bit, and he is looking, to be fair, to be doing exactly that. Now, heading into the top 3. At number 3. Amorant. He's cooking in pre-season. But of course, pre-season is only pre-season. That start Manchester United have. There's an international break there in November. Could he survive that one? We'll be keeping a very close eye. Make no mistake about it. Contrary to Manchester United fans and what they're trying to say, at least most of them trying to make it seem like last season it wasn't really his fault. Of course it's his fault. Oh my days. Horrific season. And most of the blame is entirely on him. 100%. There was no excuses for Manchester United to play that way in the Europa League final. So we will see a big summer window it's looking like. Sure, certain United fans want, the midfielder like I suggested. But if you get Sesko, Cunha, and then Bremo as your front line, I only see that second to depending on what Liverpool do. Other than that, that's the best front line in the league. Playing one game a week, Ruben Amorant has to deliver. He simply has to. At the very, very, very least, top 4. Very least, if they bring in Sesko. So make no mistake about it, Amorant. Eyes on you. Top 2. Number 2. This may surprise a few people. Why he's not number 1. Mikel Arteta. I've defended him, but there's no doubt about it. If he doesn't deliver a trophy this season, I cannot see Arteta continuing at Arsenal. I can't see it. Second for 3 years in a row. You always have to remember where Arsenal were when Arteta took over, but that's now a long time ago. A lot of money has been spent continuously in each summer transfer window. Again, that has proven to be the case this summer as well. They've brought in the big number 9 for big money. It's all on him now. He has to deliver. And Mikel, I'll defend you. But even with the football that he plays, I've said this last season, I'll say it again. The Arsenal under Wenger, when the Emirates began, sure, they weren't winning, but you'd pay money to watch them play. So that was always salvageable. And they weren't spending that money. They were selling their best players. Now they're keeping their best players. They're spending a lot of money to add to the team. They're not playing attractive football. The very least with that is you need trophies. If not, then I think Mikel's time will be up. So that means Phoenix, who have you put as the number 1, the manager under the most pressure heading into the season? Maybe certain football connoisseurs have caught on, but there is one name above any other name. Gennaro Gattuso. I have not really put the international managers in the sense it's a World Cup year, right? But for Gattuso, the case is very different. Because he will be called into action to deliver during the season, so to speak. Because Italy at risk of not making another World Cup. Could you imagine a nation like Italy missing the last 3 World Cups? The final World Cup knockout match they played was in 2006. An entire generation hasn't seen Italy play a single knockout match. You could even say 2 generations in the World Cup. An entire generation, should they not make it here, would not have even seen Italy play in a World Cup match. I mean, this is crazy, crazy stuff. And of course, it's not his fault. He's coming in now to replace Spalletti. But, like I said, it is unthinkable for a nation like Italy not to qualify for the World Cup again. So, as a result, Gattuso is my number 1. Let me know anything that you disagree with, anything I've got wrong. Not to blow my own trumpet, but I believe I've got the list again absolutely spot on. Phoenix, out.